Namaskar. Okay, last week we left off with backbends, and what we were working on was upward dog. So now what we want to do is take another peek at upward dog again and just go over a couple of things. I'm going to let Jan move into position here. And last week when he did this, he started out with his hands directly under the shoulders. Now, some people, if you come from a style where you've said, well, the leverage on the elbow might be a little bit too much, and so I want to get something easier because we want to avoid a hyperextension. In such a case, what we want to do is draw the hands back, just draw them back about 3 inches. Yep. Okay. So what happens is his hands really are not under the shoulders at the starting point. Maybe his fingertips are, but the rest, the palms, are actually somewhere around where the underarm is. Now I'm going to ask you to go ahead and lift up into it again and try to allow for a little bit of pliability in the elbow joint. And go for it all the way as high as you can without the elbows being locked. He's engaging a lot of muscle here to hold this in position, and there's a reason why. He is not, for example, using skeletal leverage where some people lock out on the elbow and they hyperextend. Okay, go ahead and relax. Some other things on this one that I want to mention too. If you spread your fingers out like a starfish, if you bring the center of the palms down, it's going to be a lot better for those of you with carpal tunnel. Now, the next one we're going to do is the raised cobra. And then we're going to go with a couple of extra challenges for those people who wanted to have more of a challenge. Or maybe they've got a student in their class who needs to be challenged. Here's what I say many times. Be prepared to modify the students who don't have the flexibility, and be prepared to modify the students who do have exceptional flexibility. You can always challenge all of them. If you're in a class where there is a tremendous amount of holding postures, you can afford then to modify as much as you like for these particular students who have difficulty or who it's easy for them. This is no problem. Been doing yoga all my life. Something like that. And I'm just joking about been doing yoga all my life. You get some people who they can do a split, they can tie themselves into a knot, they can twist, they can stand on one hand, whatever. The thing is, those type of people need a little bit of a challenge. Everybody's not one of those people. They probably did something else before, which, for example, they may have been a gymnast, or they may have been a martial artist, or they may have been a dancer. So, go ahead into raised cobra. This is a variation that we did briefly a couple of weeks ago. And on this one, go ahead and roll your toes under. You're going to press yourself all the way up. So he presses himself all the way up. And this one engages a lot of muscle here, all over the whole body. This is a good one, by the way, for getting your body in shape. And also, because everything's happening all at once, go ahead and relax. Okay, so he wasn't locking out on the elbow, so he wasn't using skeletal leverage. What I'm going to ask him to do after he takes a break is another hybrid variation of this, where what we do is those students who are having no problem, what they do is they raise a leg. So when you feel ready, come on up. Obviously, these are not postures that I would push somebody who's got problems with their lower back. Pre-existing injuries already. So he's gone already up into the raised cobra variation, and he's got his leg. Obviously, if I wanted to, I mean, just say this person right here is having no problem, I just draw it up. Nice job. Take a break. Okay, so there's that variation, and there are other variations too that we didn't do. When we were doing the Sphinx in the part before this part, what we didn't mention was that someone, say with an exceptional back, who's very flexible, could even put their forearms on blocks and go into a deeper variation of Sphinx. But now what I'm going to ask Yang to do is the king cobra, which he's probably saying, you didn't tell me that this week that we were going to do that. Now, Yang has a normal spine. We're saying normal. It's flexible, but it's not exceptionally flexible. He has no pre-existing injuries on his spine or in his spine. So on this one, he sets himself up for cobra first. Good. And then he's going to bring his feet up. Yeah, and he brings his feet, and try to relax as you're doing this, in the direction of his head. Now, you might have seen us do this before, one time or another. I may have had Jackie in the film, and Jackie, her heels are about this far. And by the way, Jackie is a beginner. Relax, Young. So someone says beginner, and then someone says been practicing a while. I know that Young has been practicing for quite a while, and yet I have him practicing all this time, and the distance between his heels and his head is maybe this much. I have Jackie, who has not had much previous yoga experience, and the distance there is this. And someone says one person is a beginner and one person is an expert. It really isn't that way. What it is it's a matter of pure God-given flexibility in the beginning. So there's no big deal here, and that's why I hate the word beginner, intermediate, expert, or advanced. Whenever you stop and you think about these things as far as the postures themselves, it really is a matter of what the skeleton gives us. So we're going to close out here on this one, and what we're going to do is next week we're going to come back and we're going to go over a couple of back bends a little differently. Come on up. Om Shanti.